you should be able to assist with warranties as far as the contract is concerned.
Mr. Chairman, I think that, well, I think it's as part of the contract or the warranty that whenever we had any maintenance challenge, we call on the company and they have to respond. And so, as I said, the whole system is such that, and in fact, they themselves, the vendors, agree that the buses are not, wholly very robust and will not have any challenge at all. They are still evolving. So that's why I said that even the same vendor, I have had opportunity to meet him and we have spoken, and he said yes, if we are to deliver the rest of the buses, it means that we have to go to the manufacturer and propose to the manufacturer that these are the challenges that we are facing with the operations of the buses, and they have to make remedial, take remedial measures on them and give us a better machines. He himself agrees to that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The particular vendor we are talking about is a very experienced person in the transport industry. I think he's about the most successful private sector operator in the transport industry. So continue to engage, and then let's get the best, arrangement that will suit us. Because you see, when you use the electric buses, the cost of maintenance, operational costs, and the parts that you need to change in those buses are almost less than 1/3 of what you have in an internal combustion engine bus. And then because the cost of maintenance is also reduced, you don't buy fuel, you don't buy oil, you don't do brake pad, you don't do all manner of things. It further reduces the lorry fare, which inures to the benefits of the average Ghanaian. And recently, if you recall, I don't know whether it's even still existing, we have shortage of buses in the system. All right, so let's actualize this one and also create, in collaboration with the Ministry of Roads and Highways, the bus rapid, transit facilities. Let's remodify our roads and give them, speed access, so that people will find them good enough for them to park their cars, hitch a ride on them to and from work. And I believe we are going to, even get the private sector to carry on the business even beyond what Metro must be doing. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. So, Honorable Minister, we'll move to the next question. But just some piece of advice to the MD of Metro Mass: try and visit the source. I think it's in China, with the vendor, to engage the company direct with some of the things and findings that you have found. Because EV is the way forward for even the smaller and the bigger one. It will help you in your course of work.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We'll go to question 91. They are all follow-ups. So you should let me just brush over it and listen. Mr. Speaker, I beg to ask the Minister for Transport the timelines for the program of government to provide monetary and non-monetary incentives. Timelines for monetary and non-monetary incentives to facilitate the penetration of EV into Ghana in accordance with Section 511 of the Electronic Vehicle Policy of Ghana. You can see that the member really wants to find out exactly what we can do to make sure that the regulations are there, the incentives, and the VAT, removal of VAT to get more people to bring EV. So what are the timelines for the incentives, both monetary and non-monetary, to encourage people to bring in e-vehicles into Ghana? Honorable Minister.
Okay. The technical director would speak to it.
Remember that the assurance you give the House is a schedule for 2024 to 2026 for creating financial and non-financial incentives. From 2024, 25, and now we're in 26. So that schedule, we will need it, because you have to speak on that schedule you give, both monetary and non-monetary.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. So with the EV policy, we have a phased implementation approach. And as the Minister said, the phase 1 is from 2024 to 2026, where the focus is on creating the enabling framework, and one has to do with the incentives as has been prescribed. As we said earlier, we are working with the Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness, to revise the Ghana auto policy to include EVs. And in that policy, we are looking at some incentives and the rest for the assembly and manufacturing of EVs. So as we speak, we are still in the first phase of implementation, and we can say that at least the policy has been revised. There's a stakeholder consultations that have been done, it's been validated. The next step is to seek cabinet and parliamentary approvals on it, and the Ministry of Trade is leading on that aspect because it has to do with assembly and manufacturing of vehicles. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
But in short, it means you haven't created any incentives yet. You can't list them for us, both monetary and non-monetary. You haven't created them yet. Is that what you're saying?
So, as I said, it's assembly and manufacturing. And in there are import exemptions, one on component parts. So when you're coming in as SKDs, that's semi-knockdown parts, or completely knocked down parts, you benefit from some exemptions.
Question to Ray, because it's totally linked so that you can put the answers together. He wants to find out from the minister when government will present this program of incentives to Parliament. So first, you have to give us the incentives you have done so far, list them for us. And two, when will you present them to Parliament?
So I have mentioned the incentive for assembly and manufacturing. That's what has been now. Now, in terms of the non-fiscal reforms, we have worked with the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority in terms of revision to the road traffic regulations. Now, for anyone driving an EV, you'll be identified as such through your vehicle registration. So that's a non-incentive for somebody who is using an EV. On that, the regulations is before this House, and I'm sure in the next coming days, they should see the light of day once Parliament approves.
Will you consider slashing the import duty and the VAT for EV vehicles for the ordinary people as an incentive?
I did say that government focus is to ensure that we're able to manufacture them locally. And so through the auto policy, we should be able to create a market where Ghanaians can buy within Ghana and not to encourage import.
As we see today, we don't have, apart from Kantaka, who is trying. I've seen a couple of vehicles that is there. We as of now, he's not having enough, and we are not also buying for whatever reason. What do we do in the interim? That's what I'm asking. Because you want to encourage EV vehicles and EV use.
So we would have wished Ghanaians, in fact, all of us, move by some means of mass transport. That's government policy. And so the focus is not really on private users who drive their vehicles on the road, because we want to, one, discourage them, and then to focus on improving public transport. So the incentives that have been given is mainly targeted towards mass transport. And so for those who want to use them locally, government policy is saying that try and get them locally, and that's what we are working with the Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness to get that done urgently. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
So your incentives is more on public transport, all right? Does it cover GPRTU and the other trade unions? Is that it? Transport unions, does it cover them?
So it's open. Anyone intending to bring in a bus for public transport services first apply to the Ministry of Transport, and then based on that application, the ministry grant that approval, and it goes through that process in terms of GRA, and that exemption is granted. And so we have had a number of firms coming to us. One is Smart Transit, which is also a private company running electric buses. And more often than not, he comes to us, seek those exemptions, and those are
Director, I want you to be audible because this is very important to the public that if you are, it's not just government vehicles, so to say. If you are a private company like VIP, VVIP, whatever transport you are, and you decide to bring in e-vehicles, there are some incentives for you. Is that the case? So go ahead and spell out so that people will get interested because we want them to also go the e-way, e-vehicle way.
Yes, so for any firm, whether government or a private company, the exemptions are open for them to access. If it's a bus, you apply to the Ministry of Transport, and those exemptions are granted to you. And it's 12.5% of the CIF value of the vehicle. So once you bring in that vehicle, we exempt that amount on the dutiable payment that you would have made to government. So that is the arrangement. Honorable Chair.
Yes. Honorable colleagues. Yes, Marfo.
Yes, I want to find out, Madam Minister, I want to find out if you say 12% of the payable duty, what exactly are you talking about?
So, Honorable Chair, the key component in terms of the duty payable, one is the import duty, which for EV is 20%. Import VAT for EV is 12.5%, and then there are other charges. So what has been waived off now is a 12.5% import VAT, and that's what we are referring to. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
So the 20% EV import duty is still in force, but the VAT component, which is about 15% or cumulatively 70%, 12% of that amount is taken out. Is that what you're saying?
Honorable Chair, that's exactly so.
Mr. Chair, I don't know whether I can continue with my question now.
Yes, please.
Yes, but I don't know if it is okay for me to ask questions on issues that they have not.
No.
We haven't.
There are
gotten there
more
yet.
questions. They have a lot of questions maybe to fall into that.
Right,
It's
okay, that's fine.
So, Honorable Minister, we'll go to the next question. On the same 9th of July, Honorable Arnaud Dompre asked a supplementary question to the very question we are asking. And it is possible you have answered, it is possible you have not. So take cue from it and move on. He says, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the role of with the role of the Speaker, the Minister repeatedly has observed that the Minister for Finance will play an important role, which is one aspect of the connecting factors or the variables. However, there are variables which are also relevant, such as garage operators, mechanics, and academia. Because of the question has to do with the penetration of EV vehicles in our country. And I further want to find out from the Minister if in his pursuit of the Minister of Finance support, he's also considering the variables which are key in the implementation of the penetration of e-vehicles in our country. That is exactly what he's saying. And the assurance is that the House will, the Ministry will complete a nationwide sanitization by mid-2026. Have you started that process yet? You have 3 months to mid-2026.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, so far, 13 out of the 16 regions have been visited, and the remaining 3, we are scheduled to also embark on the other 3, so we will meet the stipulated date that was given in Parliament. So we are on course.
So, honorable colleagues, any other question?
Mr. Chairman, I want to ask, what is the mode of the said sensitization, and which regions are left, the 3? Do you meet them in their offices? You go to the marketplaces? You go to the radio stations?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The 3 regions left are Greater Accra, Eastern, and Ashanti region. Thank you.
And the mood?
How do you meet them? What is the mode of meeting them? Because this is very new. Not many people have heard of it.
Exactly. So the director will throw more light on it. So go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Chair. So this has been the mode. We, using the Ministry of Local Government and then the regional administrations, in fact, they bring all the stakeholders together in a conference setting, and then we deliver the message in terms of PowerPoint presentations. Beyond those presentations and discussions, we also distribute copies of the EV policy itself with the participant. And we have also created a platform on our website where you can just access the website and download copies of the EV policy. So it's more of a public fora where we engage various stakeholders and with the assistance of the regional administrations. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
It's honorable.
I want to know, in the Western region,
2024 in, I think, SNIT conference room in Western region, yes, in Takrady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Director, how many of these public fora have you held in 2025 and then this year?
Last year, no. This year, the plan is still ongoing, sir. Thank you.
I don't get it. What is the meaning of last year? No. You say you've done 13.
Yes.
And you said last year you didn't hold one. And this year the plan is still, can you clarify? Did you hold a single one this year?
Not yet.
So are you saying that all were done in prior to 2024 December? Is that what you are saying?
Okay, so last year is a project being financed under the Transport Sector Improvement Project, which is supported by the World Bank. Unfortunately, last year, before we could start, the project came to a close, and so the financing fizzled out. And that's why Honorable Minister said we need to engage Ministry of Finance in terms of the financing for the dissemination exercise. And so as we speak, we are in that engagement, and as Minister said, by mid of this year, we should be able to do this assignment. Thank you.
Honorable Minister, what you are telling the public is that you completed 13 dissemination exercises, 13 regions, disseminated information about e-vehicle to them before December 2024. And in 2025, and then up to now, 2026, you have not yet done one. The 3 left, you have not completed them. Is that what you are saying?
So, as I said, the funding for the project has elapsed.
No, I have not talked about funding. I will come to the funding. I just asked you, you completed 13 by December 2024, and the entire 2025 and 26 up to March 2026 now, you have not yet tackled the rest of the 3 left. Is that it?
Yes. But we are still within the time, so we'll make sure we'll finish the 3
I'm
left.
coming to that question. The reason I asked you that is you came to Parliament to assure the committee 8 months, 7 months ago, not 8, because it was in September. No, it was in July, so 8 months ago, that you would have completed 3 regions, because you've already done now, you have not yet been able to complete it. Is that the case? Honorable Minister, can you answer that question?
Yes, please.
Yes, for.
That is the case. We still have the 3 regions left, but we are within the time that was stipulated.
How expensive is one region? Because essentially it's Greater Accra and which are the two regions? Ashanti and
Eastern.
Eastern. These are the three regions. And they are just within each other. So, and they are the most populous. So what is the budget you are looking for that you cannot complete these three in about 15 months of a new government?
Okay, my director want to answer that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. So, like my colleague said, we were fortunate enough to have the World Bank support the dissemination. In fact, coincidentally, the policy was approved. Now, the funding for the dissemination was approved by the World Bank and actually ring-fenced. However, somewhere 2024, just when we were in the process of embarking on the dissemination, the funds were swept from our account. I think there was a general exercise that the Controller and Accountant General undertook. And so since then, we've been pursuing the Controller and Accountant General, as it were, to see if we could have those funds restored. The other issue is that we hadn't budgeted, because we had received the funding, we hadn't budgeted in the current budget at the time to undertake the exercise. But really, we had the funds, we had a very elaborate program. We were just about rounding it up when the funds were swept. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, the funds that normally the controller will sweep unutilized funds should be GOG funding, not other counterpart funding for World Bank or loans. Are you saying for sure that controller swept a World Bank project fund?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That is correct, sir. The funds, there was a general sweeping. I stand to be corrected, but there was a general sweeping of accounts, and those funds were swept as well. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman,
after that,
I want to, make this inquiry. How many days does it take when you go to a region? And how many personnel do you use in this exercise?
Yes, Honorable Chair, thank you. So, normally, in terms of participation, we get close to about 200 officers participating.
Your officers?
Not from the office, I mean participants. Participants to...
Question I asked wasn't participants. I said from your office. How many facilitators go, and how many days does it take? Yeah, you've set your own question.
Okay, so it depends on the regions, but in any case, the facilitators are not more than 3. If it has to do with minister also participating, then he's added to that number. But mostly there are 3 facilitators per session, and it's a one-day event for the program itself.